the last 20 years of data center development, entering this century, so around 2000, most data centers were designed very traditionally, raised floor, forced air cooling, very low power density, et cetera, et cetera. What are some of the first indicators for you in the last 20 years of serious change in the industry?
I spent the past 30 some years of my career in this industry, so I've seen it all. It was a fascinating journey. The early parts, the mid 80s towards the end of the century, were what I would call the infancy of this business. It was all about reliability. The main customers were financial institution, banks, some big telcos, and some government agencies. And there was the reliability was essential. The industry was early. The equipment was not very reliable yet. The industry has not matured enough, but there was making progress. I would think there are three main events that reshape this industry in terms of design, architecture of your typical data centers. One was around the turn of the century, during the initial phase of the .com. All of a sudden, the whole profile of the industry has changed. We went from this very deliberate, slow building, extremely expensive data centers towards this extraordinarily aggressive rush to build new all over the world. So all of a sudden, reliability always is a top priority, but now for the first time, speed to the market and to a lesser extent, cost became important. The second event was the financial crisis of 2008, when the industry, and primarily the financial industry and some other big enterprises, recognized the fact that they are spending way too much money on IT. Historically, IT was, for many, many enterprises, were the core of their business. Banks and financial institutions are essentially technology companies. And the CFOs, the CEOs didn't quite understand what IT does, but they knew very well that without IT, without data centers, there is no business. So it's hard to say money was no object, but the budgets for IT were extraordinarily generous. Billions of dollars were spent, and the financial crisis of 2008, all of a sudden, and that came in conjunction with the development of first colocation players, first internet players, where they had other priority, and they were able to build the data centers not for $25 million, but now for maybe $15 million or even less than that. So that again changed the industry quite a bit. And the third one, the third event is the rapid advent of the hyperscale industry, the internet cloud business. Also, search, social media, the kind of autonomy these companies have, the fact that they have so many resources and they are building such a grand scale in terms of size, in terms of power, in terms of volume, have also enable them to bring significant innovations that also created this third stage of advancement in the data center business.
That's amazing, and certainly I've seen a lot of that as well. And one of these days we'll have to talk just about the sheer scale and how much we're adding on a yearly basis now versus what we were adding 20 years ago. It's amazing.
But an interesting observation, and I don't know if you agree with that, but for me it was always a bit troublesome. There is no real correlation between the big transitional steps in the IT business whether we talk, obviously a little bit of a transition from mainframe to distributed. But from that point on, whether we went through distributed, virtualization, internet, cloud, there was no real correlation in terms of design, in terms of architecture, in terms of delivery. And in a way, the data centers of today is not as different to the data centers of the 90s, while the profile of technology, today's internet data centers, and every element, whether it's storage, whether it's network, whether it's everything, every platform is so fundamentally different than what we had in the 80s and 90s.